Hope everyone's having a wonderful Sunday, because I am. I'm full of so much energy right now. I don't know what happened. How are you today?
Not as energetic as you.
Oh, that's disappointing. How is our Sports Jabber audience today? So it's Sunday. Everybody knows it's the game before the Super Bowl.
Games before the Super Bowl.
Oh, yeah.
Plural.
Sorry, there's 2 games. Yeah, sorry. We'll get back to that. But anyways, we haven't gotten to do it this year yet. So we're going to do the classic episode where we ask each other questions about our own teams. Hence why we're wearing our jerseys.
Model. Alright. So yeah, it was about 2 years ago when we did this last style episode. It's crazy we've been doing this show for 2 years now.
I know it. 2 years and you've been stuck with me. Such a pleasure.
It has its moments.
Kus.
I don't know what you're saying.
Thank you in Wakandan.
Pretty sure in South Dakota they speak English.
It's not in South Dakota, John.
It is.
It's in Wakanda.
No. Okay, so, kind of better teams. 49ers, coming off of the expectations going into the year were pretty low. You're thinking maybe 2 wins.
1 or 2 wins.
You know, they squeak out a
realistically.
second one in there.
Yeah.
And for the first good part of the year, it seemed like, yep, that is going to be the direction it's going. You know,
Mhm.
1, maybe two wins.
Yep.
Then Jimmy G comes in, and yeah, then they go on a 5-game winning streak, which in a sense is good, in a sense is bad, because that ruins your draft pick. So now you're kind of picking towards the middle of the pack.
We'll still be top 10.
Yeah, but like you were going like 2 or 3 there for a while. And
Yeah.
actually, for a while there, you're going with number 1, but you weren't going to be like the Cleveland Browns and lose every game.
I think we're coin tossing with
Texans?
Oakland in the Combine. Because right now we're tied for 9th with them. We have the same record.
So, yeah, no one thought Oakland was going to be, in the position they were. But, so yeah, get Jimmy G, go on a 5-game winning streak.
Mm-hmm.
And so now, with Jimmy Garoppolo coming in, of those 5 wins, how much do you think that's going to be a carryover into next year? Like, are those 5 wins just that big of a momentum carrier into the next season? Yeah, he's, undefeated as a starter, but realistically, going into the next season, as constructed currently, obviously that's going to change with the draft or whatever, but what are your realistic expectations going into the next season? Because that division now is kind of more open.
Well, yeah, because
Seahawks.
Seattle's in a downwards decline really quick.
Seattle's come down, the Cardinals are going to be a mess for a while. Rams, though, have come to be the class of that division.
I think it could be us and the Rams either for the first place in the division or a wild card, depending on how either of us look next year.
Do you think the 49ers have enough to go with the Rams for the top spot?
I think it'll depend a lot on the draft. Like, I'm going to really be paying attention to see how Lynch drafts this year. He had a good draft last year's first one. We didn't do too bad in free agency. But going back to your other question too with the momentum, I don't think you can bring that much into next season. Like, yeah, they won 5 games. The only game I think would carry a lot of merit is we did beat the Jacksonville defense.
Soundly, too.
Yeah, and all their starters played in that game. But for me, I don't think the expectations are that high. Just pump the brakes a little bit. A lot of teams didn't have film on Garoppolo. He's obviously going to be our starter next year, so you'll really get to see. For me, I'll really get to see how good he is when teams start to get tape on him and they actually prepare for him each week.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I think we'll win. I will say I think we'll win more than 2 games next year.
That's shooting. So, so an over-under on this year's total 5.
Yep.
No, what's the over-under? Do you think you go over or under that?
I think we'll go over.
Over 5?
Just based on our division, how bad I think it's going to be next year. I think just that alone, and depending on some of our off-conference teams, if all goes well, we should be fighting for a wild card, or at least for the Rams in our division. Because we don't know, the Rams could have a decline after this year.
They could, or they could be even better.
Right.
Another year under their belts.
So
That defense and Jared Goff, who after the first year was
apparently,
a bust, then he goes on a roll. So now next year, Packers, Niners play each other in Lambeau.
yeah.
Still waiting to hear the timing of that game. So I'm assuming probably early in the season is my guess.
I would assume
That's
so.
when they usually do it, so that would be interesting. Now, Jimmy Garoppolo is he says your starter going next year. You guys still have to sign him first. He is a free agent. So, I mean, you guys have the option of franchise tagging him while you try to work on a long-term deal, if you cannot reach a long-term deal with him before then.
I'm almost gut feeling 99.6% sure we'll sign him.
I would hope so, because you traded for him. So
Yeah.
I hope you didn't trade for him.
That's why I'm saying I'm almost 100% sure he'll get signed in the offseason.
You traded him for a 6-month or a 6-game rental. That was pretty stupid.
Yeah.
It's like you're trading him to put you over the hump for last season.
Yeah.
So
I just don't see Lynch and Shanahan doing that. They traded for him. I'm pretty sure they're gonna sign him. I'm pretty sure he's gonna be our franchise guy. I don't think they'll franchise tag him. I think they'll literally sign him.
yeah, I'd hope they wouldn't have to franchise tag him. Just get a deal worked out. Once they're able to work out a deal, I mean,
Yep.
I would hope they're talking even right now. Just like, hey, let's get this.
As soon as possible.
Yeah, let's get this figured out now and not have to worry about it going into
Yeah.
the off season. Unless Jimmy's like, hey, you know what? Maybe Tom Brady's hand isn't that good. So take a return back to the Patriots.
Oh my goodness, that'd be a slap in the face.
That would be a slap in the 49ers face if he went back to the Patriots.
Oh my goodness, that'd be terrible. I think the big thing we signed Garoppolo, we don't have to worry about drafting a young quarterback with one of our draft picks.
Yeah. So now in the draft, where do you think the 49ers are going to go, and where should they go in the draft?
I'm thinking we may go possibly safety because Eric Reed is a free agent. I believe there's a safety out of Alabama, Ridley. He was one of the good safeties in the draft. I know also I was reading something too that we might go offensive tackle. Kind of retool up that O-line to protect Jimmy G. There's a tackle out of Oklahoma, I forgot his name, but I know his name's been linked to possibly our team with, the Todd McShay's 1 point infinity mock drafts he'll do before the draft comes out.
I hate those mock drafts.
I literally just go on the Niners website, see who they're looking at, and that's it. I don't go by any of the mock drafts because 100% of the time the teams don't even take those people he has up there.
Well, and there's 1,000 mock drafts between now and the draft.
Yeah, it's good. That's why I'm saying it's going to be like 10-point infinity war or gauntlet by the time he's done.
Yeah, I hate those infinity or those mock drafts. I don't pay attention to them. Every week there's a new one. It's like, what changed between last week and this week to now? They're complete. Teams looking at other people.
Yeah,
they
literally don't. Most of them don't even draft anybody who they say, unless it's the Browns, and it's probably a spot on.
Yeah, because I mean, like, there's the mock draft should be right after the Super Bowl, because then the order and everything after the combine.
Yep.
Because then you get a better look on how everyone look during that, and then that should basically be it.
Yep. And then if you want to get fancy, mock draft a few days before, put on a mock.
Yeah.
Even then, it's, I don't know.
Yeah, but one every week.
Yeah, literally.
It's just insane.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's too much. Too much analyzing.
It is. Way too much analyzing. So the 49ers on the upswing.
Yeah, they're definitely on the upside.
Yeah, so they got
for sure.
Hopefully their franchise quarterbacks. They got their hopefully long-term coach.
Hope
GM.
so. Yep.
Ken Norton, who they hired as assistant defensive coach, just left the Seahawks.
Yeah.
Be their defensive coordinator.
Yeah, that was. I don't know. That was weird.
Yeah, I don't know what that's about, but yeah. So I mean, at least as a 49ers fan, you got to be able to look before. It's like,
Yeah.
hey, this plan is, you can already see this plan coming to fruition. You can see the light so at the end of the tunnel, especially when the rest of the division comes, with the exception of the rest of the division comes down to you.
Yeah, the Seahawks are going to hit reality hard this year.
They are.
I think Chancellor, they said, might retire because of his neck. And
Earl Thomas was, telling Jason Garrett to go get him.
Yes.
So, I mean, yeah, that's the Seahawks are going to be in for a rude awakening.
I think Sherman
Legion,
still wants to get traded. We don't want to be there no more.
that Legion of Boom is coming crashing down.
That's what we said would happen. They'd have their few good years of being really good, and then the salary cap would come into play, and players just probably wouldn't want to be there anymore.
Well, when you have that many good players, you can't pay them all.
Nope.
So you have to basically decide, okay, who's worth keeping? Who do we want to put this money to? And, God, they're not keeping anybody. It seems like everyone's going.
Their defense, they're going to start from scratch on their defense for sure.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, they had that window of opportunity, and now it's closing shut fast.
They got one Super Bowl.
Yeah,
I mean, they got one.
One Super Bowl win, made it twice. So I mean, a lot of teams would take that.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, I'm sure right now you would love to, get to a Super Bowl.
It's one. I mean, if we would have ran the ball to Frank Gore instead of a audible, but it's years ago.
So now, for the 49ers, is there going to be a new running back there next year?
Oh, I really hope not, because Hyde, I think, proved finally if he can stay healthy, he can be almost 1,000-yard RB.
The big question, though, is if healthy. And that's something he has not really been able to do, is stay healthy.
And that's the other thing. I mean, I honestly would love him to come back because he proved that he can play in Shanahan's offense. Mm-hmm. If we bring him back, we'd have him and Brietta, who proved very well, guy we drafted. I love Hyde, but it's just his health thing. Because this was his first year being pretty much fully healthy the whole season.
Yeah.
This was his first full year. And then we got the other thing with our Pro Bowl linebacker we drafted. Not Pro Bowl, but high rookie linebacker, Reuben Foster. He was injury prone his first year. And then they had the stupid marijuana thing he got arrested for or whatever.
He'll miss some games next year.
So, I mean, that's the other dumb thing, and you always see it. These young players just can't stay out of freaking trouble.
Think they can beat the system, and they can't.
And we've talked about that in past episodes. They just have one job.
Yeah.
And they...
Especially, it's like during the first, year or 2 years in the league, as long as you don't fail any tests, then you're fine. They're not going to really test you.
Exactly.
But nope, you couldn't do that. So now... Offensively, you guys really set towards the end of the season, but wide receivers are still a big question. Do you go draft, or do you see what you can get in free agency?
So Garcon was hurt for the later part of the year. Marquise Goodwin.
Garcon is older. He's in the twilight of his career. Yeah. He's not gonna be putting up the same numbers as he once did in the Colts offense years back.
I mean, I'd still like to see how him and Garoppolo would work together, but if we want to go, I wouldn't be surprised if we went young. I mean, I know we're really below the salary cap, if I remember right.
Yeah, you have lots of room to work with.
So,
you're gonna need it for Garoppolo.
I'm thinking they'll get it for Garoppolo, and then if there's a receiver out there that they think will benefit in the system that Shannon wants to run, I could see us getting one. I just don't want us to do what some teams do. They throw a whole bunch of cash at a player and then he's a dud.
Yeah.
That's my one fear, but I don't see that with Lynch. I think he's a smart enough football mind GM that I don't think he would just dump it in some player and then know he's going to be a dud because he gets his first big contract.
No. I mean, in free agency, you don't see too many of teams switching when it comes to free agency now. And they could go with the route we've seen lately and possibly get a wide receiver via trade.
Yeah.
Because, that's something that happened quite a few times over the past year. Brandon Cooks, Sammy Watkins, to name a couple of there. So you could always try going that route, see what you can maybe get in a trade.
Could go that route. There's a few receivers in the draft I wouldn't mind us snagging. I know forget his name, but it's a wideout from Alabama that's pretty good, and I think he's the number one prospect. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we went young. That's the best way to get a player is to groom him within the draft.
Yeah, and then, the rest of your team being young, might as well
Yeah.
just continue with that and let them grow together.
The worst that could happen is we win 2 games next year. That's the worst. Nobody will be expected.
No, the
We're
worst
super
would be
young.
0-16.
Like the Browns again.
Yeah,
Oh,
that would be the worst.
Gosh. But I mean, if next year comes and we don't do as well, it's not a shocker. Say they're still young, trying to find the chemistry and personnel. So
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I'd be okay if we drafted a receiver or something, or if a running back. If we draft a running back, for sure, Hyde won't be back. I think.
So you're thinking first round, probably safety. Later rounds, we'll look at
Offense.
wide receivers
Yep.
and running back if there's one out there.
That's what I got.
Makes sense. Like I said, will they go for the division next year? I don't know. Like I said,
That's a big expectation.
I think the Rams will still,
Yeah.
I don't necessarily run away with the division. I think they'll get a firm grasp on it come next year.
We should be competitive.
Competitive, yes, yeah. Definitely be competitive. Wild card.
Even that's a reach.
Yeah.
That's even a reach. I mean.
I would say next year, if you guys can even just shoot for the 500 mark,
Yep.
I think that would be good progress.
Yep.
Just 7-9, 8-8, somewhere
Yep.
around there. I think that would be good progress for you guys. And as a 49, if I was a 49 fan, if we finished that after we were to come, I'd be happy with that.
Oh, for sure.
As long as you see progress, because then
Yeah.
if you have a 7-9, 8-8 season this year, then next year, then you can look at going for the division and playoffs. So, yeah. Now it's gonna be terrible that you guys are gonna lose one of your first couple of games at Green Bay, but
Yeah, we'll talk about that when it comes up. Should be a nice cinching episode, huh? Should be a good one. And I don't know.
That's like I said, there's really no huge rivalry there or anything. So
No, if it would have been like it was years when we first got good again.
like when it was Favre and Young.
Yeah, like Favre Young, you could argue when Cap was there, the rivalry was somewhat getting back. But it wasn't like it was when it was Favre versus Steve Young.
Yeah, no, it definitely wasn't that. But yeah, I mean, over the years, the Packers and Friars have always had, they've met in the playoffs quite a few times.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Favre and Young, then even when it was Garcia and
Yeah.
Favre, you got in there with the catch by T.O. and
Yep. The
So-
iconic catch.
and then Kaepernick and so yeah, you had Favre and Young, Favre and Garcia, and then Rodgers and Kaepernick.
I mean, maybe we're just meant to meet sometime.
No,
down
they're
the
two
road.
very iconic organizations,
Yeah.
so you can't really get any better than that.
No. Hey, it wouldn't bother me if we were both competitive this year.
Well, yeah, if we both met in the playoffs, that'd be fun.
I'd be like, okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
All right. Best team win.
Yeah, do Cowboys for the NFC Championship. Oof. That would be.
I
nuts.
mean, we might need a paramedic group in the house, but it's okay.
that would be fun, but that would be crazy.
Yeah. I would still love you, even if you guys won. I wouldn't hate you.
Well, like I said, I've seen the 49ers beat us several times, so I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be that bad. I'd be like, okay, we've kind of crushed their playoff dreams before, so okay.
It's true.
I'm okay with it. It's whatever.
like I said, I've seen my team win 2 Super Bowls in my lifetime. You haven't seen one yet in yours. So I mean, if they beat the Packers to go to the Super Bowl, I mean, I couldn't be too mad.
As long as it's not the Vikings that beat you guys, right?
Exactly.
You're welcome.
As long as it's not the Vikings or the Bears or the Cowboys,
So you'd be okay with the Lions?
I would. I would be okay with the Lions.
Okay.
Like I
can work
said,
with that.
like we said in previous shows, and the Lions are just kind of that team that's there.
Yeah, they're just in the division.
Yeah, that special team. Just that tries and tries and tries, but never just quite get there. And it's true. Like every year they start out hot. They start out. Everyone's like, oh, looking playoffs, and nope,
Yeah, just
crashing down and miss.
not making it.
Yeah. So.
So, the Packers.
Yes.
Okay. So after not being in the Super Bowl since 2010, they've been in the playoffs every year since 2008,
Mhm.
not counting this year.
Right.
So if someone came up to you and said, that they're kind of been overrated to them in some aspects because they make a deep run every year, but they don't quite finish. What would you say to that person?
So I don't know if it'd be necessarily so much overrated as underachieving.
Okay.
Because they have the talent there. And if you look at what they had to work with, especially on offense.
Yeah, offense is no question.
I mean, offense, with the exception of the running backs, which are just kind of like this off and on, this person,
they
that
might have
person.
something this year, though.
They might. I love the way the rookies looked.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, Ty Montgomery might actually have to go back to wide receiver.
Yeah, because the Williams guy looked good.
Yeah, so those two rookies, Williams and Jones, I think, may have supplanted him. So, we'll look at that. But once again, none of the running backs could stay healthy last year. They all got hurt.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know if I'd necessarily go overrated, but underachieving. Because, you can't say they're overrated if they get to the NFC Championship game several years.
Right.
It's just they can never get over that hump.
Right.
Like I said, that year against Seattle, they should not have lost that game. They completely blew it. And I know one of those people that, looks like, oh, well, they lost because of this other non-fact, like, oh, it was the refs, or, oh, the other team
Yeah,
did this.
you're not like the typical classic Packer fan base where they make excuses.
It's with every fan base. This past week, the Saints have been saying, oh, that game was rigged against the Vikings. Shut up. It was not rigged.
Yeah, I've heard that from a lot of Saints fans around
Your
town.
defense player made a boneheaded play.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, yes.
It was not.
Yeah.
And then, Vikings fans, for the love of God, put Bountygate behind you now. You got your revenge. Shut up about Bountygate. Because that's what the Vikings fans said. That was their excuse why they lost that one. Oh, it's because of Bountygate, so we lost that one because of it. It's like, no, you guys you lost. Just accept it, move on.
Hey.
So like the Packers, that game against Seattle, we blew that game.
Was that the onside kick
Yes.
play? Okay.
Yes.
We get into that.
The Packers blew that. There was no other different factors. There's just a collective of Packer miscues that led to that. But the interception where Julius Peppers telling the guy to go down when he had a clear path to the end zone and there's still quite a bit of time left.
Yeah.
So he goes down.
Yeah.
That was a stupid mistake. Could have put the game away if he just ran it back for a touchdown.
Yep.
That was one.
Okay.
Onside kick. Goes right through, I think his name is Boykin's hands.
Mm-hmm.
Right through his hands, Seattle recovers it.
Yeah.
That's another one. 2-point conversion. Russell Wilson just lobs this ball up. High place right there. All you had to do is just go. That would take care of it.
Mm-hmm.
Nope. Misplayed it. They get it.
Yeah.
The final play was just this long bomb for a touchdown. It was a collective miscues that got the Packers to do that. So, and then, like I said, offense always been there. The defense is where they've always come up way short.
They have, to my opinion, they have not had a good defense really since.
They won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, they went on that wild card run and won that Super Bowl. That was the last good defense the Packers have had.
Yeah, they've had the names there.
Mm-hmm.
Clay Matthews, big name, which I've talked about. Being kind of him overrated.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
They had Julius Peppers there. Once again, big name. They've had some pretty decent. Hocklin and Dix, Nick Collins. Then they've had people that come and go. Tremont Williams, no longer there, and Micah Hyde, no longer there. He's with playing very well for the Bills this past year.
Yep.
So that's to me where not necessarily overrated, but underachieved. And then going after this year, finally a new defensive coaching staff. Finally, took way too long for it.
Yeah,
and so I'm interested to see what they do there. Because if they could just, if I keep saying, if they can just keep their defense to mediocre.
Yeah, they don't, just above average at most.
I think they could, get to the Super Bowl. They always had the offense to get there. Granted, they have the offense when healthy.
As long as number 12 stays healthy.
Yeah, number 12, Project can stay healthy, they can get there. And that's, another thing. Injuries, God, they always have a lot of injuries that we talked about.
I haven't seen a team so injury plagued in my life.
And it's not just 1 year, 2. It's every year. Single year. And so, like I said, I don't know who their strength and conditioning coach is. I keep saying maybe they should look at a different one. I don't know if it's
something.
Their regimen, nutrition, something.
Yeah.
Why don't they try the TB12 diet whatever that Tom Brady's on? So
yes.
Try it because they're always hurt, but yeah. defense has been a big issue. I think that's the biggest issue why they cannot get to back to the Super Bowl, and just boneheaded mistakes that they've made.
Okay, so going to the question, talking about defense. So until they fix their defensive issues, is it safe to say that the Packers will not make another Super Bowl until they make defensive changes, whether it's personnel or?
Well, I think this year would kind of go a long way of doing that because they finally made defensive changes.
Right.
So they have the new defensive coaching staff coming in, so we will see what that does.
So if the defensive coach comes in and he doesn't like the personnel, would it be safe to say that some of those players that have been there a while should go to try to find players to fit?
Yeah, I mean, if the player doesn't fit your scheme, then you
Right.
have to go out and find that player. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe the new coach wants to go from a 4-3 to 3-4 or 3-4 to 4-3, something like that. So yeah, you have to make sure you find the players that fit your scheme. You can't force a player to play a position that they're not going to be comfortable with.
Right.
They tried that with Clay Matthews a couple years back.
Yeah, he went middle linebacker, and he was not comfortable being the middle linebacker.
He was not, and so then they switched him back to outside. And
Yep.
That's where he likes. That's where he should be. So if the players don't fit the scheme, you got to go get new ones.
Okay. I like that. So where do you see the Packers next year if the same players stay on defense?
See, that's going to be tough just because I don't...
Right, you don't know yet what the new coach wants.
Exactly. So, that's going to be a tough thing to kind of look in my crystal ball and see. They can't do a whole lot worse.
Well, that's what I was going to say. They can't look any worse than they did this year or last year when they played the Falcons in the NFC title game.
So, and that's another that championship game blunder. They couldn't stop anybody.
No.
So, but yeah, it's hard to say. They can't be any worse, really.
Right.
So,
they got to go up.
Offense, looks like it's going to be staying the same, which I think our offense might actually be a little bit better next year now that we have maybe a running game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that will really help the offense out.
Yep.
Not having to
put as much pressure on Rodgers.
Exactly.
In a lot of
Instead
ways.
of having maybe these quicker drives where we score so fast by passing, and we can have some longer sustained drives, keep the defense off of the field.
Yes.
And get them to rest because
Yep.
as great as it is to have this offense that can score right away, that does take a toll on the defense because that means they're out on the field more often.
Exactly.
So I think it has some longer sustained drives, keep the defense a little bit more rested. I think that that in itself will help as well. But I think, like I said, if the new defense corner can at least get them to average and maybe slightly above average, then I think that they can, get back to playoffs, potentially, Super Bowl. So looking at the teams that they're going to be around next year, the Vikings are at question mark at quarterback. What are they going to do there?
Right.
And then if they do bring Case Keenum back, can he replicate the same thing as he did this year?
Because teams are going to have film on him.
Exactly.
And they're going to be prepared for him.
And this was his only year of playing at such an elite level. So we'll see. Okay, is this how he actually is, or is this maybe a fluke season?
Right.
So that is a question mark. They're going to have to figure out. And it's going to come next year. So we'll see. Their defense will still be good.
Still elite.
So we'll see what their offense is. Is their offense going to be that good? Dalvin Cook will be coming back.
Yeah.
Which will definitely help.
That was a big loss. So people
But
thought.
really, they haven't really been hurt missing. Murray.
No, they got Murray and
stepped up.
McKinnon.
Yeah, they both stepped up. So it's not like they were missing him that much. But we'll see what Case Keenum was like. Bears. I don't have much expectations for them.
No, they.
Trubisky's still young. We'll see if he can make any progress. They have a new coaching staff. So Lions, new coaching staff, constant just underachievers.
Who was it? Isn't it the Vikings? No, he's the Giants, right? Shermer, isn't he going to be the head coach of the Giants?
Yes, I believe it's Patricia Mitchell for the Patriots.
Yes.
Defensive corner going to be the Lions. Well, they say he's going to be. They cannot officially announce anything until the season is over for the Patriots. But that's kind of that's kind of the consensus is that's who he's going to go over. So we will see. I don't have a whole lot of expectations for the Lions. So in their division, you think it's probably the Packers, Vikings.
Yep.
Like I said, pending health, with everybody.
Right.
So if, Rodgers can stay healthy, that running game can do what it did this year and actually be decent. If they're off, or if their defense can rise to average, I think they can make a good run. Then you look at other teams in the conference that they fight for Super Bowl with. Eagles still going to be there.
Yeah.
Still going to be a very good team.
If Wentz can stay healthy, they should be back to where they are this year.
Yeah, and then also depends on when Wentz is going to come back.
Right.
Because he got hurt late in the season.
Got
so
super late.
Is it going to care? Is he going to miss some games at the beginning of the season before he can really come back?
I would believe
So, because they usually say that injury is about a year.
Right.
So
It's a good chance he'll come back and play at a high level because so many players nowadays come back from those.
right, but when he comes back, are they going to be in it?
That's
the big
that's
question.
the other thing too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Giants are kind of a mess right now.
Ah,
Redskins, are they bringing Kirk Cousins back? What are they doing quarterback? Cowboys,
Zeke is the big question.
but Dak Prescott got exposed. People said he did not play that well with Zeke being out.
Yeah, he needs a running game to be successful.
We'll see what happens there. Des Bryant might be gone.
Hey, Lynch, go get Dez. Go get him.
No, why would you want Des Bryant?
Go get him.
Oh, I would not want Des Bryant. And then the South, Panthers, Falcons, Saints,
Yeah.
and then West, Rams.
Rams.
That's basically,
Yeah.
I would say, the only ones. So, yeah, I mean, they very well could, be in the hunt for a Super Bowl, like I said, should everyone stay healthy and the defense gets up to just average. I'm finally happy they finally made that change on defense. It was long overdue.
Yeah, find out if you know anything with the NFL now, especially this year, injuries can play a factor from an elite team. Injuries can make them a average team.
Well, yeah, they
If it's
turned
an injury to the right players.
Yeah, they turned the Packers from this, Super Bowl contending team
Yeah.
to nothing.
Are we going to make it, pretty much?
Oh, if he had gotten hurt at the beginning of the season, there was no chance that they would have been
Yeah.
anywhere close to making the playoffs.
Yep.
So, yeah, they see the impact that one player can make on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, so, I mean, we have, I think both, better expectations come next year than what
Yeah.
they were at this year. So, it's really interesting. As I said, we're looking forward to when they actually play each other. Hopefully, like I said,
Yeah.
probably, my guess, beginning of the season, probably in September sometime.
I would assume, unless we're... Well, no, they couldn't even do that, I guess. It'd probably be early. Because if we're both playoff caliber teams, we'd still play early.
Yeah, so it's probably
Wouldn't
early.
be
So
late.
see what the schedule comes out there, but otherwise, you go watch these games.
Vikings, Jags. It's my pick. I'm sorry.
Patriots, Eagles, sticking with it.
Well, I mean, you have to.
Well,
that,
yeah,
was
I
your,
have
that was
to.
your week. That was your pick, like the beginning of the
Preseason
year.
pick, yeah, so I'm
so
sticking with it.
mean,
We'll see what happens today, and then next week we'll look ahead to the Super Bowl. Should be a fun time.
Can't wait for that Infinity War trailer for Super Bowl.
Sure.
See Black Panther again.
All right, well, subscribe on YouTube, like us on Facebook, leave comments. Who do you think the Super Bowl is gonna be in the Super Bowl? Leave comments about your own team, ask questions about your team. Otherwise, everyone, have a good day.
Such a pleasure.